Hey folks, how we doing? It's Mr. Carter here, ready to help you with Fluency and Skills Practice, lesson 21.1. This one's adding mixed numbers, so go ahead and put your name on this if you haven't yet, and let's begin. Okay, so when you add mixed numbers, the strategy I like to use the best is taking apart the fractions and putting the wholes together on one side and the fractions together on the other side, and then adding the wholes together and then adding your fractions together and then figuring out the total. So let's start with number 1. So we have 1 and 1 half plus 1 half, right? So in this case, we only have one whole over here. So I'm just going to put that 1 off to the side. So I'm just going to draw a little arrow and take that. And then I'm going to take my fractions and put those together. So I have 1 half here and then another half. Okay, so I'm just going to leave my 1 here off to the side, and we'll come back to that in a little bit, but I'm going to add my wholes. So 1 half plus 1 half is 2 halves, which of course we know equals 1 whole. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my whole that I had over here, add it to the 2 halves or the whole here, and that of course equals 2. So the answer to 1 and 1 half plus 1 half equals 2 wholes. So I'm going to circle the answer here so that I know that's the answer there. Okay, so let's look at this one. So again, we have 1 and a half plus 1 and a half, right? So again, I'm going to take my wholes, put them off to the side. So in this case, now we have 1 whole over here plus another whole. And then I'm going to take my fractions, and I'm going to put my fractions off to the side again. So 1 half plus another 1 half. Then I'm going to add my wholes together. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus 1 half plus 1 half. Well, we already did that over here, and we know that it equals 1 whole, right? So 2 plus 1 equals 3. And that is our answer there. All right, so let's take a look over here. Again, we have 1 and 2/4 plus 1 and 2/4. So again, splitting apart the wholes from the fractions. So I'm going to go 1 plus 1. So I'm going to 1 plus 1, and then plus 2/4 plus 2/4. So again, 1 plus 1, you add your wholes together, you get 2, plus 2/4 and 2/4 is 4/4. And of course, we know that 4/4 again is a whole, right? Because 4 over 4 equals 1 whole. So 2 plus 1 whole equals 3. So that is our answer. All right, let's look at this one. We have 1 and 2/4 plus 1 and 3/4. So again, I'm going to break apart my wholes and my fractions, right? So I'm going to put my 1 from there over here, this one over here, and I'm going to add 2/4 plus 3/4. Okay, so, oopsie, that's supposed to be 1. All right, so 1 plus 1 plus 2/4 plus 3/4. All right, so 1 plus 1 is 2. 2/4 plus 3/4 is 5/4. So this makes 2 and 5/4, which of course we can't put a whole number and a top-heavy fraction together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this 2 off to the side and come back to it. But I'm going to break apart this top-heavy fraction or this improper fraction and make it a mixed number. So I know that 5/4 is the same as saying 4/4, which is a whole, plus 1 more fourth. So here we have 1 whole and 1/4. Now we can't forget the 2 that we had down here, so I'm going to just bring that over here to make it closer. So we got 2 plus 1 and 1/4, so 2 plus 1 is 3 and 1/4. So that is our answer, 3 wholes and 1/4. Okay, I'm going to do a few more on number 2, and then I'm going to have you do 3, 4, 5, and 6 independently, see how you do with that. All right, so let's do this one over here. So we have 2 and 1/3 plus 2/3. So again, breaking apart your wholes and your fractions. So we only have 2 wholes here. So I'm going to put that off to the side. Then I'm going to add 1/3 plus 2/3. And so I'm going to just bring down my 2. And then I'm going to say 1/3 plus 2/3 is 3/3, which of course is a whole, right? So 2 plus 1 whole equals 3. So that's our answer. All right. So again, yeah. So let's do this one, and then I'll have you do the rest independently. See how you do with that. So 2 and 1. Again, I'm breaking apart my wholes, right? 2 wholes and 1 whole, plus 1/3 plus 2/3. So my wholes, 2 plus 1 equals 3, plus 1/3 and 2/3 is 3/3. Okay, so again, 3 plus 1 whole equals 4. Okay. All right, so I'm going to have you pause the video. I'll go ahead and finish up the rest of these problems and see how you do with that. All right. All right, welcome back. So for this one here, 2 and 2/3 plus 1 and 2/3, I did the whole problem out because I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So again, I pulled apart my wholes and I went 2 plus 1. Then I did my fractions over here, 2/3 plus 2/3. So when I add my wholes, I get 3. When I add my 2/3 plus 2/3, I get 4/3. And of course, that's a top-heavy fraction. So I took my 4/3 and I split it into one whole, which is 3/3, plus 1/3. So I have my 3 from my wholes over here, the 1 plus the which is the 3/3, and then the 1/3 that was left over. So 3 plus 1 plus 1/3 is 4 and 1/3. Okay, for this one here, you should have got an answer of 6. For question 3, it was 4 and 4/5. Let me go down a little bit. And then 3 and 1/6 was the answer for question 4. 4 and 3/8 was the answer for question 5. And 6 and 4/6 was the answer for 6. So if you got any of these wrong, go back and check your work, see where you made a mistake, and try to figure that out. And if you still have questions, you can ask your teacher. Let's look at 7. So what strategies did you use to solve the problems? Well, for the most part, I added the whole numbers together, and then I added the fractions, and finally I put both of those sums together. So that's the strategy I used. Down here for question 8, everyone's answers are going to be a little different for that, so just check your work. Perhaps maybe you used a number line, some area models, you maybe drew a picture, so whatever strategy you like to solve these problems. Okay. All right, and that is it for now. If you have questions, reach out to your teacher. I hope this was helpful, and take care.